Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
Welcome to the How Did They Grow podcast, guys. And today we have on Francine Ivy. Francine, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So excited to be here. Thank you, Mike. I'm the CEO and founder of Consumed Coaching. We are a faith-based, unapologetically faith-based Christian coaching company where we empower and train and help coaches develop their own coaching programs and start changing the world one client at a time.
Amazing. I was looking, we were speaking before, but obviously I'm looking at your form now and it says your business is inspired by your husband's legacy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, goodness gracious, how do I get started with that? We were married 27 years, full-time ministry. And we had actually started a brand new church. This was 2017. And we had started a new church. It was growing. Everything was amazing. He had started a devotional on Facebook Live because that was the new thing. Periscope had gone away and now we're on Facebook Live, right? And so he was doing a small devotional every morning and he had started a series the first week of January, Being Consumed by the Call, and talking about being consumed by the call of God and just a really powerful message series. That Sunday morning at our new church start, he preached the message, Consumed by the Call. It was amazing. God really moved. My daughter did a mini worship set. My son, who was 11 at the time, gave his life to Christ. Just an incredible morning. That afternoon, we got home and was eating lunch. The kids went off to play and to go hang out in their rooms. And my husband looked at me and he said, man, I couldn't be happier with where our family is right now. This is the day of the Ivies, being our last name. And I was like, really? Little would I know I would need those words so badly a few hours later because he left for the store. I stepped into my office. We had a team where we were working also a business. Our team had grown vastly and I was training them. And when I came out, he should have been home already. Normally Sunday nights were our time when we would have coffee and just kind of discuss the week. And so he wasn't home yet. And I knew he'd run to the store. So I grabbed my keys, just feeling like something was not okay, rounded the corner. And that's when I saw the fire trucks. A semi running too fast took him home to be with the Lord. And my whole life shattered around me in that moment. But it was the words that he kept saying, be consumed by the call, that just kept resonating with me. And I remember walking into my house immediately filled with church members and people there to minister to us as a family. And I went into my master bedroom. I told my friends, please take care of the kids for a minute. I just got to be alone for a minute. And I walked into my room, but didn't even make it to the bed, crumbled to the floor, shutting the master bedroom door behind me. And just literally said, God, I could give up on you right now. I could say enough is enough, cover my head and say, you know what, this isn't fair. That, we did all the right things. We raised our kids. We prayed. We did all the things. This doesn't make sense. And I told him I would have every right to go climb in that bed, cover my head and say, enough, I'm done. Or I could choose to cling to you and allow you to heal me and give me some purpose in what's going on in my life right now. And I remember sitting there for a good while. And finally I said, I don't know how I'll do this without you. If you can turn what I'm feeling, this painful moment, into purpose, then I'm going to give it to you. And I'm just going to give you my best yes. Well, it was 4 days after the funeral, God woke me up and he said, I need you to go get on the Devo. And I was like, I don't have anything to give going Facebook Live right now. And he said, just trust me. Just trust me. Go get in the studio and get on the Facebook Live. And so it was early that, I think it was a Thursday morning, and I turned on his mic and I turned on the lights and I turned on the camera, and it was raw and real, Mike. I mean, it was just ugly tears, the whole bit, like no script, just this is where I'm at. This is how I'm hurting. This is where the kids are at. And this is where God's meeting me. And I had no idea what was going to come next, because before midnight that night, 34,000 people had watched the video. It went viral. People were messaging me from behind because I was answering the one question everybody needed to know, which was, what happens when bad things happen to good people and when God doesn't make sense? And where is God in those painful moments, those valleys? And it really was the beginning of what was to come.
Amazing. That's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. So I'm assuming that that was the birth of Consumed Coaching.
It was. Yeah. I didn't know that at the time. It actually started with what I knew, and just started a 501c3, started speaking, sharing our story. I continued to go live for 3.5 years, Monday through Friday, every morning, just walking people through where is God in the middle of all of this, while speaking and traveling. An actual counselor that was taking our family through grief and making sure that we were doing it in a healthy manner. Because at the time I had an 11-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 21-year-old. And the 16-year-old looked at me and said, Mom, everything I've ever believed with exclamation points right now are question marks. And she said, I'm trying my hardest to pull them back out into exclamation points. And I feel like somebody listening right now understands that when life hits you, like everything you thought you believed all of a sudden becomes very rocky. And but we had a counselor, and he looked at me and he said, you need to become a coach. And at that point, I didn't know anything but football coach. I mean, I like sports. And so I was like, what do you mean, coach? And at that point, he had told me to become a life coach. He said a counselor takes people from broken to healed, but a coach takes them from that healed point, so -10 to a 0, but a coach takes them from 0 to a +10. We move them forward. And he said, I have so many people that get finished with my therapy and my counseling. I would love to see them move forward with a powerful coach. Would you consider becoming a coach and doing that with my clients? And so that's how it kind of got started. And I remember doing my first of now 7 certifications that I've been through. And I remember sitting there just weeping, thinking, this skill set of coaching, if I had had this my entire life, I could have really helped people. There is such power in coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm curious, how did that coaching, right? How did that translate into helping coaches on social media, right? There's different types of coaching. Why was social media the thing?
Right. Well, for me, when I realized that God could take a moment in my life where I felt like it was all falling apart and take a piece of my story and actually use it in not just in ministry, but to use it as a coach for me to help others. I thought I need to empower more wise, incredible people that have stories and passion and skill sets, and show them how to build out a coaching program that that actually takes what they know and what they've experienced and conquered and actually turn it. That's what started me down the road of what if I empower other Christians to start their own coaching businesses.
Amazing. I think that's a really, really amazing story. The ups and the downs, everything. Yeah. So how did you start building your own personal brand around that? And how hard was it at the beginning?
I think building out your own brand is very difficult because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, right? And so, um, actually, I would say, and I've never really thought about this till you were kind of putting these two things together. It was me getting out on socials, going live, posting,
Mm,
reposting, putting my messaging out there, seeing what resonated with people in my socials. What did people like? What were they responding to? So not only was social media a major part of my visibility, but it was also a major part of building out my brand because I had immediate feedback, very quick feedback on whether or not my the branding was resonating with my followers. Um, and so yeah, I think also social media is the majority of the place where people get to know us, the credibility, who we are, what our messaging is, and it's the majority of where my sales happen. So my leads.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video because that chat might just change your life.
amazing. Tell us more about that sales process. How do you sell? Do you sell through your website? Do you sell through the social media? Do you go as deep as the DMs? Tell us how that works.
Yeah. I probably there I'm not like on purpose in the DMs. I produce content. That content then gets people to respond to me and I'm consistently offering a discovery call or an intensive. We also do challenges where people are invited. So there's an invitation in the socials to come and be a part of our world. And once they become a part of our world, then the sales process begins to happen. So maybe it's inviting them to Kingdom Success Network, which is a networking group that we do once a month, or maybe it's the challenge that I do quarterly, which is the Enough is Enough. So there's an invite to more of a low ticket item or a no cost item, like a free strategy call where let's unpack what God just said to you. That in that free strategy call, if it's a good fit for somebody and it's like, this makes sense that you need to move forward, let me give you your options. And of course, then we give them the options of different ways that they can move forward with us. And if it makes sense to them, and then a sale happens. But there's no doubt that between LinkedIn and Instagram, which the stories are a major part of what we do there, and then of course, Facebook Lives, people get to know you and trust you. Credibility and visibility are huge when it comes to social media. They're already there. It seems silly not to use it. And I hear so many people say, I hate social media. Well, too bad. There's a huge crowd out there. They're on there every day. Use it as a platform. And as a Christian, I think it's a major stewardship faux pas if you're not out there and sharing your heart and your message. So you've got a ready-made audience.
Yeah, you just have to let them find you. And how you do that is, take that first step. Take those 100 steps, because that first step is probably not going to be the one.
No, exactly. You're so right. It's what I love about what you were telling me about what you guys do for coaches. I think many times we're so ingrained in what we do, right? And so we're always looking for people who can help us in those areas where we can't be the expert in everything. We have to be the expert in our coaching, right? We're building a business here. So, I have a client that actually works with podcasts. And he said, I want to be able to do the production part of a podcast so that my clients can do their business. They don't have to learn what my expertise is. And, so I love what you guys do there.
Amazing. It's amazing that you bring that up. I'm curious, kind of break down how different is your service to what we do?
We actually, as far as what we do, I would hope that what we do coincides with what you guys do. So we certify, right? So many of our people come to us, maybe they've been in ministry, maybe they've done direct sales, maybe they've excelled in a corporate
Yeah.
job and they have this skill set and they're like, I know that I have more and I want to mentor others, but I'm not real sure where to land. And so we certify them. We then help them launch with their tech stack, all that they need to actually launch, to collect money, to know what their program is. And then, of course, then we help them develop their messaging, what's going to truly resonate, their branding, what are they going to be known for, and what messaging actually resonate. We take them through that process. So what you guys do is put it out there, which is the visibility part, right? We want to, so what we do is we build the credibility, but how do you get visible unless you understand? I mean, my goodness, social media is changing all the time. So
All the
stand in
time.
front of it. Oh, wow. Right. To have someone who that's what they do. How powerful is that?
Definitely. You said something in the beginning, speaking about coaching takes you from -10 to 0. Sorry, consulting does that. Sorry, right?
Right. Counseling takes you from a
My
minus
bad.
10 to
Counseling.
0. Yeah.
Counseling takes you from a -10 to 0. Coaching, what you do then takes them from a 0 to 10. Then I'm imagining in my head, because that next step is the visibility, and not just the visibility. It's like turning that visibility into obviously money in the bank, but most importantly, again, is helping people that need your help. You know what I mean?
Yes. And getting in front of them so that they know you're there, right? You can be the greatest coach in the world if no one knows where you are. If you're, it's not going to help. It's not going to let you coach. And it's probably the biggest pain point that a lot of coaches have is I just want to coach. I just want to coach. Where are my people? Right?
Yeah, I definitely do agree with you, because I speak with a lot of coaches on this thing, right? It's like they just want to coach because that is what they're good at. That is what they're good at. But people, they can't find people to work with. That's another thing. So it's like, so a lot of coaches face this dilemma. Sorry to just give you this. And a lot of coaches face this dilemma where, let's say on one hand is their coaching business, and in the second hand is their quote unquote marketing or visibility or social media, right? They are up here in terms of they can push their social media up here. Sorry, they can push their coaching business up here and keep it high. But now they're struggling to even get eyeballs to this service.
Yes.
They're relying on referrals, but they want more people. So for them to do this on their own, this is going to have to come down. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. As a matter of fact, because we usually spend the first year and a half with a brand new coach, one of the biggest things that we have to help them come out of, and I was actually describing it in a group coaching and in a group that I coach on Mondays, that you end up in the very beginning, you've got the algorithm throwing things at you. You're buying this, you're buying that, you're downloading this lead magnet, that lead magnet. You're spending more money than you need to as a brand new coach. And you find yourself in this pit, what I call the learning curve pit, right? Where you don't even have time to think about coaching because you're thinking about this lead magnet and that funnel and this and that and what tech stack. And you're in this massive learning curve or multiple learning curves. And you find yourself trying to pull yourself out of this pit of learning curves. And, the mud's just sliding with your hand. And one of the things that we have to do continually is stay out of that learning curve. Let's keep this thing simple. Let's get the right hires on and do the right things, because you've got to focus on your ideal client and how you serve them and recognize the right languaging, the right way to get in front of them, all of those things. So I think that pit is the thing that drives me the craziest, is to watch a young coach just continue, just slide into that pit. And before they know it, they're in this spiral of trying to learn 100 things.
Definitely. I definitely do agree with you. And I like one thing you said there, which is one thing they need to focus on is finding that ideal client. And
Mhm.
again, it brings me back to just mention because what we do, we take that away because social media is a forest.
It is.
Finding your ideal
Right.
client and tailoring your content towards them is the key, because
Yeah.
that is how they find you, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't. It's one thing to just whip out your phone and make a video and say, "Hey, today is Tuesday. I'm doing this." That's content, but at the end of the day, is it content that converts?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I think everybody's waiting on that one viral post, but what they're surprised is that, and what I've seen is that they do something silly and it goes viral and it does nothing, right? It just
Exactly.
a bunch of eyes and not eyes of the right people because you didn't stay within content. Yeah, there's a lot to it. There really, really is.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm curious, about you and your coaching business. Can you share with our audience what are some of the goals you have for consumed coaching
Yeah.
in 2025? What are some of your goals for you, the brand, the business?
Yeah, so we're super excited. I think that, and there's going to be some new coaches out there going, it takes 4 years to do that. But we feel like that our program is pretty honed in, and it's just time to scale now.
Mm,
Our goal is to hire on multiple coaches, to begin to train them on what it is that I do and how I do it. We've already brought on 2 coaches, and they're incredible. And so our main thing is to move into a scalable um, system. Where we can have multiple coaches. We already have our community program. And now we have our 3-stack program that helps coaches grow. So.
amazing. So that's the big thing for 2025.
Mhm.
W- what I know, obviously everyone wants to scale, but why is that? Why is your image, your picture of scaling, bringing in more people? Kind of share with our audience so they can really get where you're coming from.
Right. Um, Ask that question again. Tell me again.
Everyone wants to scale, right? But why is your step to scaling bringing in more people? Kind of share that with our audience, because I really want
Right.
them to get that.
Yeah. I think our step to scaling is being able to serve more clients, right?
Okay.
So obviously, if I'm the only one coaching, there's only 3 ways that you can actually scale a coaching business. You can scale it by raising your prices, right? Producing a higher end product and raising your prices, multiple programs. You can also scale one to many, right? That's when a lot of one-to-one coaches turn into one to many, or one to community. You can have that piece. You can have, obviously, you can have some automations, courses, things like that. The way that we want to do it, because our program is really based in a personalized, customized, it's part of our pillars of what we do. And so one-to-one coaching is a big pillar for us. And we don't want to go to the courses or videos. Not that they're bad. I think they're fantastic. Just as one of our pillars, a personalized and customized feel is super important to us. So our scaling method is to train more coaches for our staff, or our what we call strategist, so that they can duplicate what I do, and that's how we're going to scale, is to be able to to be able to serve more. Now, in that, Mike, we're going to need to pull in more, right? More visibility. It's one thing to fill one roster. It's another thing to fill 10 rosters of clients, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Amazing. So kind of break that down as well. What's the plan for that? What's the plan to, because you're filling in your let me put this in an analogy. Let me put this in a church analogy. You're building more churches, right? You brought in the pastors. How are you going to get a congregation? Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, we're building right now. I'm building out a YouTube. I'm doing a
Okay.
challenge quarterly. There we have organic. I'm pretty serious about organic, because we do have an ideal client, and that um that our messaging speaks to directly. And so that's super important to me as well. And continuing to build out. We've just really started building out both the YouTube and the LinkedIn, which has a lot of our clients as well. So so far, we've done everything organically. So, but it is about, and I'm sorry, I don't even know why I didn't think of this, my speaking engagements, which is that's also a part of our scaling this year.
So what did you call that?
Speaking engagements.
Oh,
So
speaking
starting to speak, in larger venues. So
amazing. I think that's amazing. And I'm sure like the usual listeners who hear me say this all the time, that organic is king. Organic is king.
yes.
I'm curious, tell me why it has worked for you and why you're doubling down on it for the sake of the audience. Like a lot of people think they need to throw money on ads. So just kind of break that down.
Yes. I mean, you can throw money at ads, and I don't have a problem with that. I think I would rather someone have engaged with our content and know us more than our program, so that when we are doing these discovery calls, we're truly bringing in the person who has kind of dove deep into our content and they kind of know who we are. It makes a discovery call so much easier because they already have built know, like, trust with us. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's like the thing about ads. Yeah, I'm not against ads as well, right? But
Right.
when you run an ad to your product, to your coaching service, people come into the funnel. Wherever it is they drop off in that funnel, they drop off. But if someone comes in organically, they follow you. Someone can come to your sales call, get to the point of payment and say, hey, I want to think about it, or I'm not ready right now. And you will see them 8 months later appearing, I'm ready now. Because they stay in that funnel. They're still watching your content and they're still being nurtured by your content.
Yes, that's good, Mike. I hadn't thought about that, but that is definitely what we've seen in our business because we've leaned into organic. I actually closed on a sale last week, and it was someone who was from a year ago and had DM'd me and said, hey, I met with you a year ago. I'm ready to go now, right? Because they stayed engaged. And because we also end our discovery calls, I love it. I heard a coach say one time, and it's just a good way to describe it. Let people leave a discovery call or an offer with dignity, and it gives them the opportunity to come back around, right? And so we always end a discovery call if it's something like I'm not ready yet, or I don't have the money yet, or what have you. We just tell them, well, we're so eager to work with you. We would love to. And in God's timing, we're going to be here for you. You let us know how we can help. Right.
That's amazing.
And that's okay. Right. And that's why they come back around. So I hadn't thought about the fact that we have, because of being able to stay engaged with us, it makes it so much easier for them to come back around to us. Great point.
Yeah, definitely. And just to say again, organic is what we focus on because we don't really do ads because, as I said, we've been in the business for years. We know what works. So like we've dialed it down really to scaling this coach. What is your ICP? What is this? We do the research and we give it to you. Turn that into a cash printing machine is what we like to call it.
I love that.
Yeah. Tell us more about
that, right?
Sorry, what did you say?
I said everybody's into making some cash. So
everybody's into making some cash. Definitely. And when you do that with coaching, I was speaking to I speak to a lot of coaches. Speaking to one guy, he told me that when you're able to help someone take them from that point A to point B, which is where they want to be, point A being where they're at, that journey is almost like raising a kid. Would you say you felt that?
Yes.
I think there's a particular client in your mind.
Yes. Yeah, because you're helping them. A lot of any kind of coaching, whether it's business coaching, life coaching, relationship coaching, you're dealing with a lot of mindset mess. You're dealing with limited thought patterns. You're watching them grow up right in front of you or come to those aha moments, or what I call those revelatory moments where, you can almost see like, oh, right. That's what I love about coaching over training or teaching, because training or teaching tells them what to do, whereas coaching, by
You're
asking the
holding
right
their hand.
question at the right time, right? It brings that answer out from them. So instead of me giving them the answer, if I can ask them the right question at the right time, what happens? It comes out of their mouth and they're like,
Mm.
oh, wow, right? And so there's just a lot of power to that. And yes, that's a lot like parenting. And honestly, I've been a better parent since I know how to coach. Because instead of just telling them, I'm asking them the right questions so they can come up. So yeah, I would put those hand in hand.
Definitely. I'm definitely enjoying this. Let me ask you something else. You spoke a
Mhm,
lot about your goals, in terms of speaking gigs and the rest. Kind of
mhm.
before we hop off, what are your plans to kind of achieve those goals? What
Yeah,
are the steps you have to take? What is
yeah,
going to take you from that 0 degrees to 10 degrees or whatever?
yeah. I would say maybe this is the way I see it. Mike, you can add to this.
Sure.
Um, uh, we do network. I love what John Maxwell says. He says every time he meets someone, he then asks them, who do you know that I need to know, right? So continually to build a network of relationships. I tell a lot
Mm.
of coaches, you're spending a lot of time in the basement waiting on someone to ring your doorbell. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to get out there and talk to people. So in that, being introduced to people, which is going to put you in, whether it be a small networking group or like the other day, I actually did a small Bible study in one of my clients' homes with 15 women that she invited over, right? Those are 15 women now introduced to what we do. So in that process, but here's the issue. When they leave a one-time speaking engagement, right? Where are they going to go? How are they?
Mm.
I mean, there's only so much they're going to get on a website. I think a lot of us think, oh, we'll just send them to a website. Well, that's not enough content for someone to get to know you. I mean, I think the average is 10,000 hours for you to become their best friend, right? So where's the 10,000 hours of content? Well, it's on social media. They're
I think you mean
scrolling.
10,000 minutes or something like that.
Oh, is it? I don't know. It's a
I
lot.
think the actual Google actually did a study. We'll get back to what you were saying, by the
Yeah,
way.
no,
Google
no,
actually did a
that's good.
study where they said it takes 7 hours of people watching your content before a person can trust you and buy something like high ticket from
Yes,
you.
good.
7 hours over 11 different touch points, meaning 11 different instances
Mhm.
over 4 different social media platforms. That's the amount of content and type of awareness someone needs to have of you before
Oh, that's
they
good.
can actually buy from you. Yeah. So
That's
get back
good.
to the story.
Yeah. So, no, that's so good. I need to write that down. That's good stuff. Um, so the point is, where are they going to go to dive deep, to hear your heart, to know who you are, to begin to know, like, and trust you? And of course, that's where the social media, where your social media is. Now, here's where having a professional looking at it, like you guys, is super important because you got to keep a consistent message. If you're
Yeah.
all over the place, then you're not really building know like trust. You're confusing your client. And so yeah, so you need to make sure you're that it's clear. And so, we work really hard to make sure there's plenty of content out there that people can digest and get to know me personally and my personal brand, as well as our company brand and who we are and how we show up. As a matter of fact, the strongest discovery calls that we do as a team is that they show up already saying, I've seen you everywhere. I've had 2 or 3 friends recommend you, right? If they're saying that, we know we've done a good job.
Then they're basically coming on the call to take an order. There's no
Yes.
objections.
No objections at that point, right? They've already built that relationship with you.
Amazing, amazing. I think we've kind of come full circle here. Let me just go ahead and ask you, what is one thing you wish I asked you on this podcast?
Mm, I don't know. You did a pretty good job, Mike. I think you did good. I can't think of a thing.
Okay. Let me ask something random about something you said. You said you were. Did you say you were into football coaching, or you said You just thought coaching was about
No,
football.
it's just I love football. No.
Okay.
Yes, college football is definitely. My dad grew up in Alabama, and
Okay.
after the military, he then retired us into Alabama, which was culture shock because I lived all over Asia most of my life. So my mom was Japanese. So when we moved to Alabama, there's a strong Alabama college football team there that has made us love football. So yeah, I'm just a football fan.
Amazing. But for the sake of context, for those in the UK, she's not talking about football, kickball.
Right.
No, she's talking about American football. Yeah,
American football. Yes. Yeah.
definitely. I think this has been an amazing one. Where can the people go to, kind of find out and learn more about your work?
Yes. Consumedcoaching.com.
Okay.
And then, of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram. We'd love for you to come and check us out there. So Francine.
What's okay,
Yeah.
Francine Ivey. Okay.
Ivey. Yeah. Francine _Ivey. Ivey is Instagram. So
amazing, Francine. This has really been an amazing one, and hopefully we can have you on some other time.
yes, I would love that.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?